So the subculture that I chose to talk about today was the rave subculture because we haven't really covered it too much in the readings before. So I thought it was kind of interesting to start reading about the rave subculture because you hear about it in TV shows and things like that, but you don't actually know what goes on. Um, but a lot of what I read and looked up and found out was, especially when rave became big back in the 80s and 90s, it was right when the internet was beginning to not even be popular, but it was just becoming known to some people. And they used very early stages of internet to communicate a lot, and it was all based around secrecy to protect themselves and the people organizing and the members and people attending raves. On social media today, you don't, if you're just scrolling through Twitter or Facebook, you don't really see too much about the rave society because they're trying to keep it a secret so that they don't get in trouble, because rave is typically based around drugs. Not everybody that goes to raves does drugs, but that's the common conception. And so to protect their members and themselves, they try to keep it very secretive. So it's not something you typically see on social media. They keep it in private groups. It's not something that's really advertised on social media, but especially in the 90s, AOL, when that was first created, they used AOL groups and things like that to discuss. They would talk about the raves they'd been to, their experiences, where the next raves are going to be. But a lot of the location and stuff was done over the phone to keep it extra private. And they'd use code words and signals and stuff in order to protect themselves when they would call to find out the location, the time, the date, and all that kind of stuff. They would use bulletin board services. They had virtual raves, things like that. But it was not super common, and still not super common, to see it on social media. During coronavirus, they're suggesting living room raves, which would only really work over a video call or things like that, but it wouldn't give the same type of atmosphere as a real rave where there's loud electronic music and dancing and it goes all night long. But still a lot of secrecy throughout coronavirus. And they, even in the early stages of the rave community, they used internet to protect members as well, because they would send out emails advertising for the newest pill to take for the week for that rave or whatever it was. And other people, hackers especially, would send emails with this different pill, and people wouldn't know which pill was supposed to be taken. And the fake pill could be more dangerous and cause harm, so they were using the internet also to protect the members of the rave society. They used real audio to live stream. And again, all their discussions are about time, location, what drugs are going to be having at the party you're taking, or whatever is the common or popular drug of the time. Discussions again, message boards about their experiences, things like that. And I think that in today's society, it's just not very well seen on social media, so they can't portray it in a good or bad way. I think that it's more portrayed in TV shows and movies, which is still not that often, but that's where you see it more often, is in high school parties that are rave style, where people are doing coke and things like that, or taking pills. But not on social media for the fear of it being real and them getting caught. But I think that that's something, the rave society, you need to meet face to face, because raves are all about the parties they have. How can you have a rave subculture with no parties, no meetings, or anything like that? It would completely change the identity of the rave culture for sure. It would become less unified in a way, much more distant than what it is now. And I think that mass media could hurt that, because people will try to do online meetings, especially right now during coronavirus, do online meetings or have phone calls and raves and FaceTime raves and things like that. And I think that that would really hurt the community or in the subculture. But that's all I have.